Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School, and I was talking to somebody today, and I had to bring this up because this was a really interesting thing that kind of came across my desk. I mentioned I asked a question today that I thought was reflective of what I'm hoping the future is for the black community, and I said, what if a million black children were to learn how to start their own businesses? What if a million black kids were taught the basics and the fundamentals of financial literacy? What if a million black children were taught that just little things like that being a boss is optional, that you want to save and invest your money, that you want to become a producer in this economy, not just a consumer, that you want to know where to build, how to build things, right? How to get alternative streams of income, things like that. What if that became a core value in the black community? And it was interesting because a lot of people were very excited about this idea. And it was a very simple vision, but I think it's an attainable vision. Maybe not a million, maybe it's just 100,000, even 10,000 will make a big difference. And actually, that vision formed the foundation for why we created our Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program. Blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's the website that it's on. And basically, it was built around saying, how do we just teach some very basic financial literacy concepts to black children so that these children that go through this program have an average financial literacy level that exceeds the typical college student. And I know that's possible because I've been teaching finance since I was 22 years old at the college level. I've taught calculus and stuff like that too. So I kind of know just sort of what college students know. And I know that a lot of this stuff can literally be taught to a fifth grader if you know how to teach the fifth grader. So anyway, I saw that most of the comments were very favorable and very optimistic, very excited. But I couldn't help but notice that there were some people who were very negative, who just seemed to always bet against black people. And I think the person said something like, well, this is nice, but not number one, not everybody's college material, and black people should focus on being contractors and learning skills so that they can get hired to make more money. And I'm not disagreeing with that entirely. I'm not saying that skills don't have value. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with you if you become a plumber or a carpenter or an electrician. I'm not saying that at all. But what was interesting to me is that you have some black folks who immediately, when you talk about the vision and the power and the greatness of black people and the possibilities, they immediately shrink the vision down because they don't believe black people are capable of achieving the same things as whites. They just kind of believe black people are meant to be relegated to second class citizenship. So for example, when I used to say, and I said it all the time, I said, look, I believe every black child in America could go to college, at least 90% of them. A lot of people say, well, no, not everybody college material, Dr. Boyd. Not everybody college material. Not everybody can do it. And it's fine. I understand. I understand. Some people just don't like it. Some people don't see the value in it. Some people learn differently. That's fine. But you have a lot of families in white communities that don't think that way. They don't put the limitation on the child before the child finds out where the limits actually are. If you go to the family of George W. Bush, George Bush was not a smart man. He really wasn't. But his family said, you're going to Harvard, you're going to Yale. He went to Harvard, he went to Yale, and he found a way to graduate. We got kids out here that learn how to do the fucking, excuse my French, I'm gonna stop cussing. I shouldn't have said it. They learn how to do the nay at the age of 4. At the age of 4. Do you understand how much neurological activity must occur for you to know how to do those coordinated dance moves at the age of 4? We got kids that learn that will memorize every little thing going on Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives. They can tweet, text, and chat at 100 miles an hour in a language that some of us don't even understand. But yet we somehow want to put limitations on our kids when it comes to business development, educational achievement, and all forms of accomplishment that will put them in the driver's seat for their own destiny. Um, this is what I call negative Negro thinking. This is that Negro who always finds the reason why black people will probably fail and will spend more time thinking about why we won't succeed than they spend thinking about how we can succeed. I do believe that every black child in America can be taught and should be taught the fundamentals of running your own business. It doesn't mean everybody's going to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying that at all. But you got to understand, there was a way that people did survive before welfare and in corporate America, corporate jobs came along. Before there were jobs and welfare, there were people had to find a way to become industrious enough to make a product and sell it so they could get money for that product. You go back to 1899, how did our ancestors survive then when there were no factories to go work at and there were no corporate jobs? I mean, so what I would just say in general is that, sometimes our thinking ends up putting just such a box on our possibilities. I want you to be able to Negro thinking when you see it. When somebody does it, just say, "Hey, that's negative Negro thinking." Just stop it. Let we know that the limitations are there, but let the children find out what their limitations are. Don't tell them what their limitations are before they get a chance to explore their possibilities. Because what happens is sometimes we'll put the limit on them at the age of 3 or 4, and then they never go beyond the limit because they say, "Well, Mama said that not everybody's meant for college, so I just didn't try because I didn't think college was meant for me because Mama said that everybody shouldn't be trying to go to college, or I should have been a contractor or whatever." And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to be a contractor, or it's a bad thing to work hard, but you cannot. The best way to really do well in this society is not spending your life expecting that you're going to make all your money off your back. You can't work, you can't do physical labor beyond. I mean, it's hard to do physical labor into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. You can't. I mean, it's difficult. And so the thing is that there are people out here that make a lot of money doing very little work, very little physical work. And these people tend to be people who place themselves at the top of the economic food chain. These people are investors. They tend to be producers. They tend to have a culture in their families that breeds entrepreneurship and ownership. They're thinking about ways that they can position themselves as owners of assets so they don't have to do hard labor for their whole life. So I would just say in general, let's kill the negative Negro thinking. Let's focus on ways that we can build, ways that we can grow, ways that we can succeed. Here's another example of negative Negro thinking that I saw. I think when I said that what if a million black children learned how to start their own businesses, somebody said, well, white people would take it away from us. They'll never let that happen. And my question is this: since when did anybody in the history of the world ever let you have power? I mean, since when did anybody ever give you a permission slip to be successful as a community? There's no country on earth, no sovereign nation on earth that was just given the right to protect and control and have access to things that they wanted and needed. It just doesn't happen. The only time somebody gives you something is if they're controlling you, if they're telling you what to do. So understand this: white people will never let you have true freedom. White people will never let you have access to the resources that they feel belong to them and belong to their kids. They're just not going to do that. Human beings don't do that. Would you give away your last dollar to somebody just because they asked for it? No, they would probably have to take it from you, right? So throughout history, people who have accomplished things, those communities that have prospered, have always had to have a willingness to fight. They've always had to have enough self-esteem and belief and love in themselves to be willing to confront their oppressor. If you don't have enough, if you're waiting for your oppressor to give you a permission slip, then you will always remain oppressed. So I don't really sit around thinking, like, how can I find a way to get a white man to give me permission to be successful? I prepare to compete every single day. Like, it's just like trying to win a basketball championship. The other team, no matter how bad they feel sorry for you, will never give you that trophy. You have to go take that trophy. So that's what I would just say is, let's kill the negative Negro thinking. Let's stop putting limitations on our kids. Stop focusing more on the fact that they're not college material. They're focusing on the fact that they can be if they want to be. Stop talking about entrepreneurship like, well, that's not possible for every black person to be an investor or blah, blah, blah. Every black person can be an investor. You can go to Ameritrade.com and buy a share of stock for $8. I see black people spend $8 like it's nothing. The limitation is up here. The limitation is in your head. you think that the stock market has a whites only sign, or you want to make some excuse for why you're struggling and not getting where you want to get to. And racism is a convenient scapegoat. It's an easy way to explain away a lot of problems. We can I can eliminate my need to get up and get out of bed and work every day by just saying, well, you don't know what it's like being a black man. It's hard being a black man. That's why I stay in bed all the time, because racism just makes it so hard for me. And there will be white liberals out here who are going to say, oh, you poor little Negro, I feel so bad for you. You just stay in the bed because the white man being mean to you, and that's what black men go through. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because in order for me to accept your paternalism, I must surrender my masculinity. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to surrender my manhood for a little bit of charity. So it may be a little bit tougher for us. It's a lot tougher. But that does not mean we don't have opportunities. It does not mean that we don't have freedoms. It does not mean that we can't take that $100 we're going to spend at the club or at the Kevin Hart movie or on the Jordans and put that money into something that's going to allow us to build. If you have the mentality of a builder, then in a couple of decades you will have built something. Period. I don't care how poor you are. If you're saving a little bit and investing that little bit on a consistent basis, your wealth will accumulate. So stop. Let's get away from making excuses. Negative Negro thinking, it may be justified a little bit. Maybe we have reasons to be mad. We certainly do. We have a lot of stuff that's been done to us, but it's not going to help us solve the problem. So we got to solve problems, man. I mean, this feeling sorry for yourself stuff. I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that. Life's too short to sit around feeling sorry for yourself. Cause all you're gonna do is just you're gonna be sitting there in a puddle of your own tears, and ain't nobody gonna give a damn about you. So that's it. Let's kill the negative Negro thinking. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. You can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com if you want your children to sign up for the program. It's for kids age 7 to 14. The parents love it. We also have a 100% money back guarantee if you don't love it. So check it out. You may find that it benefits your child tremendously. In fact, I designed it so that it would. So take care. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.